Welcome back to the Slide Job Podcast. I'm your host, Colton Smith, or Left Turn Central, here joined by co host Brandon Bull Davis. If you notice, me and Bull have two different backgrounds than you're used to. There's some background noise on mine as well. Bull, you're down in Texas, right? And
Yeah, I'm
Austin,
in
you're
Dallas.
Dallas. Okay. Yeah, down in Dallas. I have my new place up in North Dakota, and I'm not at my new place right now, but we're staying on a college campus as a part of the internship I'm doing, and so we don't have internet in our dorm, and so I had to go to the only place with internet access. So it's a little noisy, but this is the quietest place I could find, I promise. So I'll try to mute my mic when I'm not talking, so it's not that unbearable for y'all. But we got a lot to talk about. Big Texas race. So Bull, I was in and out of watching that, so I'll let you go ahead and take over the recap.
Yeah, there's not a lot that happened. First two stages, kind of summarize the first two stages pretty quick. Kind of the third stage is where the action kind of picked up. The first stage, Carson Hocevar got the pole, kind of took off, and he was gonna set sail actually, and lead pretty much the first stage until lap 20. Noah Gragson spun, brought out the caution, regrouped everybody, and then so that kind of changed everything up a little bit. Denny Hamlin forgot to pit with the rest of the lead lap with the rest of the field on lap 22 when they pit. So they come back around to choose on lap 24, and he decided he was going to pit then. So he pit from the lead, and Austin Cindric gained the lead from that, and he took off and led the rest of the first stage, and ended up winning the first stage. Tyler Reddick was really the only car making moves the first stage. And that kind of moves on throughout the day. He was making moves throughout the first stage, and about lap 75, stage one ended at lap 80. 75, Denny Hamlin ended up blowing an engine, brought out the caution, and Tyler Reddick had worked his way up to second, was actually going to pass Cindric and win the stage if it wasn't for the caution. So stage one ended up ending under caution with Austin Cindric winning the stage and Tyler Reddick getting second. So stage two ended up Barry ended up getting the lead from stage two, and not too long after getting the lead, was coming off of turn four, had to change his line to get out of the wake out of lap traffic because of the car that we have currently with the next gen car, and hit the bump coming off of turn four and spun, hit the wall, and ultimately ended his day. Um, so in the stage two ended up pretty much ended the same way. Tyler Reddick was working his way back up to the field, and Chris Buescher blew a tire with 4 laps left. Tire disintegrated itself, and we got a caution for debris. So that ended stage two under caution as well. Stage three is where the action kind of picked up. Started out with a Jesse Love wreck. Then we got a Kyle Busch and Ricky Stenhouse wreck. And then Ryan Preece and Carson Hocevar wreck. Brad Keselowski spin. And then this is where the lap 258 is kind of where it kind of picks up towards the end of the race. Michael McDowell's leading. Ryan Blaney's in second. Blaney, McDowell side by side on the restart, and they ended up having to go to review. Ultimately, they said McDowell was in the lead, and if you look at the camera, it's by millimeters. Ultimately, I think that's what ended up letting Logano win the race. I think if Blaney gets that call there, I think he ends up winning the race. So that put McDowell starting on the next restart. That put McDowell starting first. Blaney chose the outside, and Logano chose the inside. So then after that restart, Reddick got clipped by Suarez. He came down, got clipped by Suarez running fifth. Um, He had to go down, pit for tires. That's what ended up. I think he ended up finishing 23rd. So then, so that lined them back up again with Logano on third, and McDowell first. Blaney second. On the second lap after the restart, Joey shot on the inside, and McDowell came down, ran him down below the yellow line, had a bad entry into turn 3, and ended up wrecking himself, ending his day. Gave Logano the lead. Blaney passed him, getting the second, and then Ross ended up coming into third. So brought out that caution. So then for the final restart, that took it into overtime. And you had a restart of what I thought was actually ended up going to be a good restart. I thought it was going to be a wild finish with you had Joey starting first, Blaney starting second, and Ross Chastain starting third. I fully expected Ross Chastain to full send it with him and Joey starting in the first 3. But it ended up going clean, and Joey ended up getting the win. Ross ended up passing Blaney on the inside. Ultimately, I think what led to Blaney's downfall is he was not very good on restarts. He had the fastest car on the long run, but in those, as you can tell in stage 3, we had 6 cautions, so he could not get that momentum going. If we could get the momentum, it was going to be Reddick or Blaney winning that race. Blaney just could not get going on the restarts. So ended up Joey Logano ended up getting the win. Ross Chastain ended up getting second, and Ryan Blaney ended up finishing third. Ultimately, I think it was a pretty bad race. After the race, I know I was telling you beforehand, a sentence I never thought I would hear. Kyle Busch apologized to Rick Ware for running into his car. Something I never thought I would hear. So that pretty much summed up all I needed to hear.
Yeah, Kyle Busch apologizing is one thing, but to Rick Ware is a completely different thing. But I mean, looking at these results here, it's such a weird top 10. Like I missed one race and we got Ross in second, Ryan Blaney third, like you said, Kyle Larson fourth. That's pretty normal. But then Eric Jones sneaking out of top 5. Ricky Stenhouse, you mentioned, was in a wreck. He finished in 6th place. Austin Dillon in 7th. John Hunter Nemechek, Christopher Bell, and Daniel Suarez got involved in a wreck, but kept going. He clipped Reddick. But so what an interesting top 10. Todd Gillen, Ty Dillon right outside there in 11th and the 12th position. So
another guy who had a good day was John Hunter.
Yeah,
he was around top 10 all day as well.
Yeah, he finished 8th.
Yeah, he was around the top 10 all day. And for the people who listened last week, Eric Jones was the guy we talked about.
Yeah,
had 10 top 10 finishes at Texas. He hadn't had a win, but had 10 top 10 finishes in 14 starts.
Yeah, definitely a good start for Legacy a little bit. Kind of, we did our power rankings, but I think they might be projecting a little higher. But it is 1 week, so some interesting DNFers though. If I scroll down to the bottom here, Hamlin finished 38th, Bowman 35th, Bubba Wallace, Josh Berry outside the top 30. Keselowski once again finishes 28th. Briscoe DNF'd, McDowell DNF'd. So Hocevar, the pole sitter, finished 24th. Shane Van Gisbergen actually got 22nd. What an impressive finish for him.
How many DNFs did it take for that to happen, though?
That's a great point. But like I said, I didn't watch too much of this race. It was great hearing. It sounded like kind of reminiscent of an older Texas race where it took cautions to really. And when I say older, I don't mean like the original Texas, not the good Texas. I mean the repave, which is crazy to think it's been about a decade now that we've been on the repave. And I still feel like we have yet to break through. And that's the main reason why I didn't really tune in that much. I'm like, if I'm going to miss a race this season, let it be Texas. If this was Kansas, if this was Homestead or a better mile and a half, I definitely would have made sure I had it on while I was moving stuff, but just didn't feel like going through the extra effort. So
And Colton, the tires, I think in about 2 years, we might actually get a good race. It
mhm.
took a while, but tires actually kind of started to matter a little bit.
Okay.
It took a while, but they did wear out. And when you pit, you were faster. You could tell a big difference when you had fresh tires compared to old tires. So it looks like it might be finally starting to wear out. It's took a decade, as you said,
Yeah.
but it you could tell a little difference. So I think maybe next. I don't think it'll be next year, but maybe I know it's bad to say, but maybe in a couple years we might finally get a good Texas race.
Yeah. And then they'll repave it again or some stupid shit because we can't have a good Texas anymore. But was there anything else from the race you wanted to touch on or talk about, or do you want to move on to some of our other topics?
No, I think we pretty much covered. It was pretty straightforward race.
Mhm.
Um, the guys who we thought was going to finish up front. I will mention William Byron was up front for the most part of the day. Actually led a little bit in stage three, and he ran into Chase Elliott on pit road and destroyed his front splitter.
Mhm.
And once he pitted, he could not, after he got out of clean air, he was not the same car.
Okay.
So I think he ultimately finished around 15th, something like
Okay.
that. So that's what put him towards the back.
Yeah. 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 I see Larson definitely ate into his points lead, just 13 points behind now.
Yeah, I know we were talking a couple weeks ago that Byron had the regular season locked up. I don't think that's the case anymore.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. Definitely with how good Larson's looking. But we wanted to talk about something that we had a lot to talk about last week, so we didn't necessarily get to it. But we wanted to talk about the whole, and there was still kind of some context that needed to come out. Denny, we had to listen to what Denny had to say. Dale Jr. had some good insight on it, but it's the whole All Star race situation with NASCAR apparently coming to the table and saying that they would entertain the idea of a bring whatever you want to run and see what happens format. And it was an interesting kind of conversation around that. Dale Jr. kind of opposed his co-worker at Mo Media, Dirty Mo, in which Denny said it would cost him like $2 million to make that car. Dale was like, "Yeah, that's overinflated for sure," and it just seems weird because all we hear about is how the main issue with this car is that of how uniform it is. It means you can't really get an advantage anywhere, and which makes it hard to pass. So I'm curious what your thoughts are on this situation, and do you think the All Star race should have a just boys have at it kind of attitude?
So I so I was at first when I first heard it, I was all for the idea. It kind of pissed me off at first when I heard the teams were all against it. Then I kind of listened to Denny's side, and I kind of listened to Junior's side, and then I kind of was in the middle. Um, so I kind of understand Denny's side, where basically a run what you brung, the teams are going to cheat these cars up, and then they're not going to be able to use these cars anywhere else the rest of the year. And one thing that I did not realize is they only get 7 cars a year, and they have to prove to NASCAR. So, like, if say the Daytona 500, they're in a really bad flip, the car is completely totaled, they can get another one that way. But in this instance, they could not get another car. So basically, they're just limiting themselves already down to 6 for the rest of the year. So that's another key factor. Another factor is, like Denny mentioned, it's going to cost $1 million, $2 million for this race. The winner of the All Star race for the last 20 years has only got $1 million. Why has that purse not changed? That's a NASCAR problem. NASCAR needs to raise that purse. If NASCAR raised that purse, it's 2025. NASCAR needs to raise that purse $4 or $5 million. Make the purse $4 or $5 million. Let these teams experiment. Also, listen to I don't know if you listened to Door Bumper Clear. They had Kyle Busch on there this past week, and he talked about it. Kyle even said that they were going to let them experiment with the engines and open the engines up, even take it that far. So, I mean, apparently NASCAR was willing to let the teams try and learn stuff to make the short track package better, which I'm all for. I think that's one key factor that we need to do. I think short track racing, that's my favorite aspect of NASCAR. Bristol, Martinsville, my favorite two tracks. So I'm all for trying to make that package better. We don't need to be racing the same package at a mile and a half that we do at those tracks. So I'm all for the idea. But I also think that Dale Jr. had probably one of the best ideas.
Yes, I was going to bring this up.
Throw the next gen car away. Tell the teams right now we are going to bring a late model stock to the All-Star race next year. Give them a year. Let them build one. Let them rent one. And invite NASCAR legends. Make it an actual All-Star event. Call Tony Stewart. Call Carl Edwards. Call Dale Jr. Call whoever you want. Jamie McMurray. Bring the NASCAR legends back, and then they have the Cars Tour event already. Let the local legend race his way in and start from the back and see how far he can go.
What does it hurt? It's not a points paying race. It's a money race essentially. It's just kind of every other sport does it, so we do it. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but why not make it something unique and something that we haven't seen before? That's what's supposed to make an all-star race so special.
They could build a late model stock or rent a late model stock from
It'd be like $20,000 or something like that.
For $20,000-$30,000, they could build one, and I'm sure there's a lot of good teams that would rent you one for a heck of a lot cheaper, just to say that this NASCAR team drove this late model stock car for the All-Star race.
Yeah, and some drivers own teams that make it anyways.
Correct. Kevin Harvick owns a team. Dale Jr. owns a team. They each have a couple cars. Mm-hmm. I'm sure Junior would rent out a couple cars. Harvick would rent out a couple cars.
Absolutely.
So there's 8 cars right there. I mean, it doesn't take that much. It's just for fun. They're going to go out there, have a lot more fun that way, spend a lot less money. I don't know. I think there's a lot of things that we could do to make the All-Star event a lot better.
Yes.
Besides just adding a promoter caution.
I agree. I think that and just going to a place like North Wilkesboro works for like a year or two. After a while, it's going to lose its luster. How do you bring that back? Let's make this. Bring back the legends, like you said. Bring in the short track heroes and make this an event. Make this something I want to see, because it's not. It really isn't something outside of I'm curious what North Wilkesboro racing looks like. And that, like I said, will be lost within a year or two. So, especially with this short track package, let's do something. And I hope NASCAR hears that. It seems like they have somebody listening. Not that they always follow through with it, but at least somebody listening. So, anything more you had on that All-Star talk?
But it is a good sign that NASCAR was willing to let the teams experiment.
Yes.
And try to learn something about the car for the short track package.
Yes.
But how much more excited would you be for the All-Star race if you saw Carl Edwards, Jeff Gordon, and Tony Stewart lining up, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. lining up for that event?
Absolutely. Also, Dale's point on maybe not saying boys have added on the entire car, but opening up certain areas of the car for interpretation would also be another idea to keep it less expensive and still allow for that creativity. Because I think that's what we've lost as a sport, is the creativity it takes to succeed at the top level. I think a great point is the whole Rodney Childers. When I was listening to that same episode, or I might have been listening to a different episode. I don't remember. But regardless, when the whole Rodney Childers situation happened with Spire, he was talking about how he feels like this next gen car has taken away the creativity that made Rodney Childers so special. And that's why you didn't see necessarily a night and day difference. You saw the improvement, but it wasn't just a night and day difference from before. So I think it's something that we need to get back. And I saw a really good baseball analogy about bats. Like, imagine if everyone just used the same exact bats, the pitcher threw 90 miles per hour every single time. That's kind of what we have right now in NASCAR. And that would not be fun whatsoever. It would give the illusion of it being a close games or whatnot, I guess, but it would not be a fun game whatsoever.
No, it would not. And right now, and that goes back to like Denny Hamlin was saying as well. When he built the 2311 team, they didn't even add a fab shop because we don't have that aspect of the car now. So they have to go to JGR if they need anything fabbed. So that's going to add more cost to them.
Right.
If we could get any kind of that creativity or fabrication back into the sport to be able to experiment, if you can move the shock positions or the spoiler, just little things like that. It's not going to change the whole aspect of the car much, but there's little things you can do without spending a whole big budget.
Yeah. I'm sure there'll be some talking points we'll have throughout the summer and throughout the show. One thing I did want to mention briefly, this channel at the beginning was a big NASCAR gaming channel. And I wouldn't mind getting back into that, but I don't know if I will because it came out that the NASCAR 25 will be $80 at release. I don't necessarily go out and blame iRacing for this because it's kind of what the market is becoming. But 2K is $70, Madden $70. Why not? I would accept the $70. That's just a thing now. I don't like it, but it's a thing. But $80 is just pushing it too much. I trust iRacing to make a great game, but also if you think about it, the last game that came out, I believe in 21, was a train wreck. It was a terrible video game, and that's why we've gone like 4 years without a NASCAR video game because it was that bad. And I don't think that's going to happen again. But am I going to pre-order this game? Absolutely not. Am I going to buy it first day? Absolutely not. I'm going to wait for it to go on sale and probably pay like $60 like the good old days. So I don't know. It's the market. It is. I get that. iRacing definitely put a lot of love, and the game looks great from what I've seen so far. But unless I win the lottery or something, I won't be throwing $80 at a game unless it is literally. I don't even know if I guess GTA. GTA 6. Everyone makes that joke, but that would be $100 at this rate.
That's the comparison I was getting ready to say. GTA 6 got postponed the day that they announced the price for the NASCAR 25.
Yes, exact day.
So I'm not going to pre-order it. The pre-ordering is $100 to get it 3 days early. I'm not going to pre-order it for the $100, but I'll probably get it the day it comes out for $80. It's just we haven't had a good one in forever. The 21 Ignition was the worst NASCAR game I think that's been made.
Agreed.
So
I never even played it, but I could tell.
The last good one was what, 14?
Yeah, I would say the NASCAR Heat games were good. I mean, they weren't. It's one of those kind of with Madden and 2K where you're like, this isn't good, but I kind of just accept that this is at least an enjoyable experience. That's how I view the Heat games. But yeah, 14 was probably the last that felt like a real simulation game.
So, and I think with iRacing, with doing it, they're getting actual NASCAR people involved. They're getting NASCAR spotters involved.
TJ Majors and Dale Jr. is also involved. He's not a spotter, though.
Yeah, TJ Majors is involved. I forget who the other one is.
It was Suarez as crew chief.
He's involved. Dale Jr. is involved.
Or spotter.
and I know they've got they bought a bunch of licenses for some good music. I know that's a very low thing, but a
Yeah.
good soundtrack that'll also help make the game. So I'm sure that also goes into the price,
Yeah.
but I am looking forward to it. I have to admit,
Mhm.
I'm pretty excited for it.
I am too. Like I can't say like the 80 has completely killed my excitement for it. And knowing me, it'll get to day one. And I'll look at my Xbox store, and I'll look at my bank account, and I'll see, oh, I got $81 in there. Well, that means I can purchase it, and then end up purchasing it. But as of right now, it's just like it's just crazy to see. It's just crazy the world we live in now, and that's just gaming as a whole, not necessarily reflective of NASCAR. I mean, Mario Kart's also $80, so yeah. But I think that's all. I am excited for that game, and if anything more comes out about it, that's interesting. We might bring it up on the pod. And hey, if I get started, I may do like a little career series or something like I used to do, multiplayer stuff. I don't know. We'll see. But I think that's all for the NASCAR game I got. If you're ready to get into, we didn't have any overreactions today, correct?
No, I didn't really have one this week.
Yeah. So, I mean, this isn't an overreaction. This is what I've been saying for a while, but fix Texas, whether it's just taking it off the schedule or actually fixing Texas, like, and hopefully that'll just happen over time. But so let's go ahead and get into our, what do you want to say?
It's not an overreaction, but they screwed up Atlanta and Texas. What they did to Atlanta, they should have done to Texas.
Yes,
And what
absolutely.
they got those backwards.
Yes, I absolutely agree. Definitely should have. Atlanta should have been more of a repave, whereas reconfigure for Texas. Completely agree. But what I was getting into is let's just go ahead and go to our power rankings. Bull, I'll go ahead and let you start. I don't have too much changes because it was a wild Texas race. I do have a change at the top, though.
I don't have much of a change. The top five, I think the top five of mine is pretty set going forward. But I do want to give an honorable mention to Ricky Stenhouse. If the playoffs started today, he is in the playoffs. He is having a very good season so far this year. Currently, he's in the 16th spot in the playoff rankings. Nobody's really talking a lot about him. He's not really getting having a lot of flashy races. Just consistency, and that's what you need. So let's get started. Number 5, I got Chase Elliott. Number 4, William Byron. I know we talked about he's the points leader, and we talked about a couple weeks ago. We thought he might have had it locked up, but he is slowly fading that points lead away.
Yes.
So I got him at number 4. Number 3, Christopher Bell. He was at number 1 for a while, dropped him down to number 2, and he is slowly creeping down the top 5 to number 3. Mm-hmm. Number 2, even though he blew an engine this week, I did move him down from number 1 to number 2. Denny Hamlin, number 2 this week, still running, having good season, still running consistent. Number 1, I got Kyle Larson, having a really good season this year. 2 wins, very consistent top 5s, and he is eating into that points lead and getting those 5 bonus points for the regular season champion.
Yep. I'm going to keep Chase Elliott there. Honestly, if Cindric would have had a decent finish, I probably would have kept him up there. But I want to put Chase Elliott at 5 because he's just been that guy. No wins, but he's just kind of been hanging out. Not the best finish at Texas, but still okay. Chase Elliott, I guess, at this stage of his career, hopefully he fixes that. I'm sliding Bell down to 4. Actually, I think I left him out because he didn't finish well at Talladega, which kept him off my radar for some reason. But Bell was realistically like third last week for me. He's sliding down to the 4 spot for me. I want to put Byron, the points leader, at the 3 spot. Is he slipping? Yes. He was my number 1 last week. So I'll go ahead and slide him down to number 3 because he just hasn't had he might have had race winning speed at Texas, but he hasn't really had that since Daytona or Darlington. So then at the top 2, you can probably guess Denny Hamlin at number 2, and then number 1, Kyle Larson back up there. Like you said, both of them having great seasons. Both of them have Denny 2 wins each. Yeah, 2 wins each, and consistently just Denny had a blown engine. That's going to happen. Can't really knock him for that unless it starts to become more of a pattern like Ryan Blaney. So yeah, that's my top 5 right there. And that was a really great mention on Ricky Stenhouse, first season with Hayek Motorsports. So I wonder if they're finding something, I guess. I don't know. But Ricky Stenhouse has always been a very back and forth driver. Like some years I feel like, oh, he's outperforming the equipment. Other years it's like, how has he still got a ride? This is one of the outperforming years.
Very interesting stat I saw. He has not had a finish below 24th this year.
I mean, that's so unlike Ricky Stenhouse. Like that, typically he's the DNF master, but great start.
And we've already had 3 super speedway races, Daytona, Atlanta, and Talladega. So usually you think you can usually factor in one
Ricky Stenhouse race,
and still not finished below. I think it was either 24th or 25th. Has been his worst finish this year.
Okay, all right. Well, if we're ready to move on, you have 3 drivers for me today?
I do actually.
All right.
I do want to make a little change. I'm going to give you the 3 drivers and their stats. You can go ahead and guess them, but at the end, I'll tell you who they are.
Okay.
Last week, I kind of got slammed for giving it away because a couple guys wanted to guess them as.
Okay, gotcha.
Yep. So the first one, 14 starts, 1 win. 2 top 5.
Where are we at this week?
Kansas.
Kansas. Okay. All right. So 14 starts.
14 starts, 1 win, 2 top 5s, and 3 top 10s.
Okay. I think that one's Bubba. That's my guess.
Okay. The second one, 18 starts, 1 win, 7 top 5s, and 12 top 10s.
Okay, I'll go with I think Larson only has 1 win there.
Okay, and then the third one is 18 starts, 0 wins, 4 top 10s, or 4 top 5s, and 10 top 10s.
Give me Christopher Bell.
Okay, so you got the first one right. The first one is Bubba.
Okay. All right.
14 starts, 1 win, 2 top 5s, and 3 top 10s. The second one is actually your guy, Chase Elliott. 18 starts, 1 win, 7 top 5s, and 12 top 10s.
You see, I thought about that, but I thought he had 2 wins for some reason. So I know that's one of his better tracks.
And the last one is his teammate, Alex Bowman. 18 starts, no wins, but he's got 4 top 5s and 10 top 10s. Yeah,
he's great at Kansas in those mile and a halves. That's for sure. So that doesn't surprise me one bit.
A race that I'm very much looking forward to.
Yep.
Last year with the greatest finish in NASCAR between Larson and Buescher. Always puts on a great race. 2 years ago, we had the race between Larson and Ross Chastain. Last year was the Larson and Buescher race. Just always puts on a fantastic race.
Yes, very excited. I'll make sure I'm tuned in to this one on Sunday. I got my mulligan with Texas in, and I'm back locked in for the rest of the season. But Kansas is going to be a fun race, and I feel like 23XI's had dominance here. Larson's had some decent runs. I was trying to think of who else used to dominate this track. MTJ used to be pretty damn good at this track. There's been dominance, but there's also been some parity within that dominance. So it'll be a fun race.
Another guy that I was really surprised when I was looking at, Kyle Busch, has really good stats here.
Okay. I feel like Joe Gibbs has just Toyota in general is really good at this track.
You remember the race? I think it was 3 years ago when Bubba won. What car he was driving, Colton?
He was driving the 45.
He was. You remember the car that won 4 years ago before the race before that?
The 45.
With Kurt Busch driving.
Yeah.
And Tyler Reddick now driving the 45 with that Toyota dominance. That 45 is going back to victory lane this week.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I mean, we saw the flashes at Texas, had a fast car at Texas. We know he's going to have an even faster car at Kansas. So I really like that take. I say this every week because you just make such great picks. But if Reddick's on the board, he might not be if Josh watches the show. But I'll definitely be picking him.
I forget I think it was Bianchi asked Reddick about his speed this year, and he said, I'll be interested to see what happens at Texas. And after the race, he said, now I can't wait to see what we show him at Kansas.
Oh.
He said, after the speed we had at Texas, I can't wait to see what we have now.
Riley Herbst's top 10 coming in? He's got the car for it.
I don't know about that.
All right. Well, so Tyler Reddick's the pick for this week. We'll have to see how that plays out. Excited for Sunday. Is there anything else you want to get out before we wrap up the show? I didn't mention at the start, Josh. Once again, just busy time in his life, graduating and a lot of other stuff. So he was unable to make it. He should be back Friday, I think. We'll see. But other than that, we also missed last Friday because of storms. Apparently, like the day after I left, y'all just started getting absolute pisser storms. So I guess I got out of there just in time.
Yeah, we were trying to do it Friday night, and it took me over an hour to get home from work.
Mm-hmm.
And Josh lost power, and it was a mess.
Yeah. And then Sunday we hadn't really planned it, so we couldn't really get it going. Or Saturday, I mean. So so a little lull in the schedule there, but we're back going. I think I'll literally be at this corner probably for the next 3 episodes before I get officially my own room that I can get my computer and all that set up out. So I'm excited to see excited for that to happen, so I don't have to come over here and awkwardly talk in the corner about NASCAR. But anyways, I think that's all we got. Or did you have anything?
No, I think that's it. I think we pretty much covered it.
Yep, for sure. So be sure to tune in on Friday for our Fast Five picks and whatnot. Ben Miller will be back on the show. He's been screwed out of 2 episodes now, 2 Fridays, so I'm sure we'll have a lot to talk about. So be sure to tune in for that. And, of course, check out my What Ifs that recently came out. The Brad Keselowski one's doing some pretty good numbers, the first one especially. So I've had a lot of comments, a lot of suggestions on what to do in the future. Somebody even made their own alternative What If, and I loved reading through that and seeing like how just a couple different conversations or viewpoints on how things would have gone changed his overall outlook. So that was really cool. So be sure to comment any suggestions y'all got on any of these videos for What Ifs, and we'll get to working on the next one here. Probably next week.
The Bubba Wallace at Wood Brothers was a move I did not expect.
Yeah. Well, we felt that because he didn't get to fill in for Almirola, I think. I forget why we ended up not giving him it's because Menard got the 43. So we said Menard with his sponsorship, RPM was struggling, so they needed that sponsorship. Like, obviously, Bubba Wallace is a Cup Series driver, so how do we work him back into the Cup Series? Like, he's buddies with Blaney, so let's put him in he gets a part-time Penske, and he pieces together some other rides, and put in Bubba, and then he ended up in the 21, and then the 45 opened up for him eventually. I still haven't gone back and watched the second one yet, so I forget some of the stuff we did.
That one, and then the Tony Stewart, Tony Stewart move. Kyle Larson.
Out to Trackhouse. Yeah,
that would have been fantastic if that actually happened.
Yes. Basically, we're assuming on that Tony Stewart is still motivated in the sport. Like maybe him and Gene Haas's feud ended up getting even more motivated. So it's kind of weird giving Alex Bowman a championship at Trackhouse and not Kyle Larson. But like we got to the end and it was like 1 a.m. or like it's either Buescher, Bowman, or Blaney. And it makes sense for Blaney, but Trackhouse was also really good, or in Buescher because Penske's good there. But Trackhouse did beat Penske there, so they should have a good shot at it if they're running for a championship. And Bowman probably would have made the Final Four if he didn't get disqualified. Anyways, so like you saw on there, we did a spin the wheel. There's a couple decisions throughout there that's like we can't decide. We're just going to spin the wheel and see what happens. But that's what makes it fun. It's the random stuff that happens. But didn't expect to go on about the what if, but I'll go ahead and wrap this up so we can go about our evenings. Thank you all for watching, listening. Be sure to hit that subscribe button, comment down below. Like I said, what if, or any thoughts you had on what we say. Be sure to follow me on Twitter at LFC__99. Follow Josh at JNorth1989. Don't know why I shout him out. He hasn't been on the show, but whatever. At Bull, and follow Bull at Bull_81818. Thank you, Bull, for coming on to the show, and we will see you all in the next one. Peace.